I found out too late. Wow. That single sentence, it just hits you, doesn't it?
It really does. It sets the stage immediately. You know something devastating is coming.
Yeah, and that's where we start our deep dive today. We're looking at this incredibly raw story submitted by a listener about a man, Kyle Anderson.
Right, Kyle. In his Denver living room, realization dawning. He hasn't lost his wife, Laura, to, sickness or an accident.
No, but to another man, a betrayal that just cuts right through everything he thought he knew.
And the story paints this picture of, perfect normalcy beforehand, which makes it even harsher.
Totally. Good job. Nice home. A wife he clearly loved, Laura. Everything seemed, solid.
That illusion is about to be completely shattered.
So Laura, they met at work, right? Ridgeway Financial. Kyle was climbing the ladder there.
Yeah, an office romance. They actually got HR approval, got married, seemed like a real partnership.
And Kyle's boss, Richard Ridgeway, described as a mentor figure, he even paid for their honeymoon.
Which is significant. Shows a level of personal investment, maybe even kindness. Especially meaningful for Kyle given his background serving in Iraq.
It builds this foundation of trust, not just in the marriage, but in the workplace with Richard.
Exactly. Which makes what happens with Richard's son, Jason, feel like a double betrayal almost.
Jason Ridgeway. He comes into the picture about 3 years into the marriage.
And he's portrayed as the polar opposite of Kyle, isn't he?
Completely flashy, entitled, like he just expects to run the company someday.
While Kyle's the guy putting in the work, getting his MBA, earning his way up, you can feel the friction there immediately.
Oh, yeah. Just fundamentally different people, different values, headed for a clash.
And that clash really kicks off when Jason makes a specific move.
The promotion. He makes Laura his executive assistant.
And Kyle's gut feeling right away is that this isn't about Laura's performance.
No, he sees it as Jason being opportunistic, calculated. He tells Laura he's uneasy.
But she dismisses it, right. What were her reasons again?
Sort of the usual deflections, maybe. It's just business. We need the money. Jason's harmless.
Looking back, those reassurances sound pretty thin, don't they? Almost like she's convincing herself, too.
Could be. It's that classic thing where one partner senses danger and the other just doesn't want to see it or can't.
And then the red flags just start piling up. The story lays them out pretty clearly.
Yeah, the late nights become more frequent. Then these out-of-town trips start happening.
Changes in her, too. Wardrobe, attitude, Kyle's noticing.
His suspicion is just growing, eating away at him. He finally confronts her after one of these dinners, lays it all out.
He's trying to bridge that gap that's opened up.
And she agrees to talk, promises to ask Jason for a week off so they can reconnect. A little bit of hope, maybe.
A fragile hope?
Yeah.
But then Jason attaches a condition to that week off.
The condition. He'll grant the time off if they both come to a party at his place. Friday night.
You can just feel Kyle's reluctance. He already dislikes Jason, the arrogance, even that nickname. Lola.
It grates on him, but Laura persuades him. Maybe she thinks it'll smooth things over, maybe something else. He agrees, reluctantly.
Walking right into the situation that's going to change everything.
So Act 2, the party itself. Kyle's uncomfortable from the second they're getting ready.
Go to the dress.
Yeah. Laura comes out wearing something completely new, totally not her usual style. Tight, short, backless.
He even notices, a new thong, no bra.
Yeah.
It's deliberately provocative.
And when he asks about it, she just casually says,
Jason asked her to wear it.
Right. Just says it. Like it's normal. A massive boundary crossed right there.
And Kyle,
Sadly,
he doesn't push it.
Yeah.
Stays quiet. Maybe shock, maybe not wanting a fight right then.
he probably regretted that later.
Yeah.
Then they arrive at Jason's place. Expensive townhouse, but feels cold. Loud music, smells like weed.
Not Kyle's scene at all.
And Jason greets Laura really loud in front of his friends. Lola, you look incredible.
Like he's showing her off.
Yeah,
Marking territory almost.
totally. And these friends are there just smirking. Jason doesn't even really introduce Kyle properly.
No. Making Kyle feel like an outsider. Completely insignificant. Utter contempt.
Jason then immediately sits super close to Laura, arm around her, joking about it being force of habit.
While Kyle's watching this from across the room. Just watching his marriage unravel.
Drinks are passed around. Laura takes one easily. Kyle sips his, feeling more and more uneasy.
Then the drugs come out. A joint being passed around.
And Laura takes part enthusiastically, which is apparently really out of character for her.
Another sign that something is deeply wrong. Jason keeps making these little digs, too.
Yeah, like praising Kyle's work, but then calling Laura his work wife while patting her thigh.
just twisting a knife. Calculated psychological games. Kyle must be boiling inside.
Then Jason drops that line, "I don't know what I'd do without her."
And that's it, the breaking point for Kyle internally. He knows. He knows something terrible is happening.
His instinct just takes over. He excuses himself, heads to the bathroom.
But he's not just cooling off, he has an idea.
Right. He pulls out his phone, hits record, slips it into his shirt pocket, lens out.
A quiet, determined moment. He needs proof. He needs the truth, no matter how ugly.
So, Act 3. Kyle returns from the bathroom, recording, rolling, anxiety probably through the roof.
And what he walks back into is just awful.
Laura, openly snorting cocaine with Jason and his buddies. Her whole demeanor is different. Inhibition's gone.
He sees Jason whispering to her. Her hand is on Jason's knee. It's blatant.
And then he notices something else. Her dress. It's hiked way up.
And the thong.
Gone. Just lying there on the love seat, casually discarded. Right next to Jason.
Oh, man. That detail.
Yeah.
So careless, so disrespectful. The finality of that must have hit him like a ton of bricks.
Crushing. He goes to pick up his own drink, maybe to confront them, maybe just needing something to hold on to.
And he sees it. Something undissolved in the bottom of the glass.
Grains. Before he can fully process, he feels dizzy. Things go fuzzy. He passes out.
He was drugged. Jason drugged him. This goes way beyond infidelity now. It's assault.
Yeah, it's crossed a serious line. As he's fading out, he hears muffled voices. Thinks he hears Laura whisper, "I'm sorry, Kyle. I really do love you."
How hollow does that sound? Chilling, really.
Nothing. Hours pass. He wakes up. The house is quiet. Eerily quiet.
His phone, remarkably, is still in his pocket, still recording. He feels this awful dread, but he has to know. He goes upstairs.
And finds the absolute worst case scenario.
Laura, naked, in bed, with Jason, and another man.
Just the visual. Her arm across Jason, condoms scattered around, clothes everywhere, the ultimate betrayal laid bare.
The shock, the hurt, unimaginable, but somehow even then, his mind clicks into action. He doesn't rage, he gets methodical.
Right. He starts gathering evidence, the wine left in his glass, the drugged drink. He finds an unfamiliar key on a counter, takes Laura's phone.
And then, the symbolic gesture. He takes off his wedding ring.
And leaves it right there on her purse. A silent statement. It's over.
He just walks out, doesn't say a word. It's not running away, it's like a tactical retreat.
When his next move shows that, he doesn't just crumble, he calls for backup. His ex-Marine buddy, Ryan Keller. Someone he served with in Iraq. Someone whose life Kyle apparently saved. Deep loyalty there.
He tells Ryan everything, holds nothing back.
And Ryan's response is immediate. "What do you need?" Total support.
So the planning starts. Ryan comes over, sets up surveillance in Kyle's own house.
Kyle gives him that key he found, guessing it's for Jason's place. Another piece of the puzzle.
And then Kyle faces the grim task of going through Laura's phone.
Spends the whole night doing it. Finds 6 months of lies. Texts, pictures, videos, nude selfies, club photos, even sex tapes. 6 months of a double life.
The full extent of the betrayal just laid out digitally. Brutal.
But he doesn't just wallow, he compiles it all. Everything. Writes a detailed account of Jason's behavior, the drugs, the affair, how it's a risk to the company.
And he emails it. To himself for a record, and crucially, to the board of directors at Ridgeway Financial.
Wow! That's not just personal revenge, that's calculated. Professional accountability. Using the system against them.
It's a remarkable shift, isn't it, looking at Kyle? He starts as this trusting, hardworking guy, gets absolutely shattered.
Yeah, everything he believed in his marriage, his mentor figure, Richard, his own judgment, maybe it all breaks.
But he doesn't just break down. He transforms. He becomes focused, strategic, driven by self-preservation and, yes, probably a need for justice, or at least exposure.
His motivation changes completely. It's not about saving the marriage anymore. It's about exposing the truth and protecting himself. It hints at resilience, though. A capacity to rebuild, maybe.
And Laura, she starts as, bright, maybe ambitious.
But gets tangled up in Jason's world, whether through ambition, manipulation, fear, or just poor choices. She ends up leading this double life.
The consequences for her are obviously huge. Marriage destroyed, potential legal trouble, career in ruins. That whispered, "I'm sorry." It hints at regret, maybe, but the damage is done.
Absolutely irreparable damage. And Jason, he's almost a caricature of entitlement, isn't he?
Textbook case. Reckless, manipulative, seems to think he's untouchable. Driven by power, maybe boredom, undermining Kyle.
But his actions have consequences. His arrogance leads to his downfall. His freedom, his position, all threatened because he couldn't control himself.
It's a story that really makes you think about trust, betrayal, and where people's breaking points are.
Definitely. Which brings us to some questions we wanted to leave you, the listener, with.
First off, thinking about the whole timeline. At what point do you feel Kyle's marriage was really over? Was it one specific moment, like the physical affair, or was it dead long before that, with all the lies and changes?
That's a tough one. Second question. Laura's side. If we consider her explanation or potential explanation of being scared or manipulated by Jason, does that excuse her actions at all, or is she fully responsible for the choices she made?
Yeah. Where does responsibility lie when manipulation might be involved?
Yeah.
And finally, putting yourself in Kyle's shoes, a truly horrible position to imagine.
Right. If that were you, facing that level of betrayal, the drugging, everything,
Yeah.
what would you have done? Anything differently? Or was his calculated response the only way forward?
Lots to chew on there. It's a story that definitely sticks with you.
It really does. If this story moved you or made you think, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.